in orientation is locked, rotate device back. Okay, so it can only go in portrait mode. I should know that by now. I can zoom in though. Perfect. Thanks for joining, everybody. If you're catching the replay, we're looking at some bird effigies today. We're going to be checking out these. I might take the camera off of the stand here so that you guys can see them a little better, but make sure this is all tight so you don't go swinging around. There we go. So we can see the lifelike eye right here. I have my little pen here too. It's really pretty. The way that the diamond is around it, you can see the little lashes. It's a perfect eye. And then we have this little duck here. I guess that's what it is. I'll show you a few of the stone representations of the birds as well. This is kind of how it all started with the little stone birds. You guys might remember him if you've been around, but it's just a bird head if you're not seeing him. And then we have large crystal versions here. And kind of show you next to some of these other bird heads. You see very similar stuff here going on. This one's kind of like a cardinal head. And we'll look at a few of these in depth. And then this one, when you flip it this way, it's its big left side bird head, you see. So it has the red eyes, what I see as the eye, the dot right there. And I imagine that this trunk-looking thing is going to be a mammoth too. Super cool. All right, so today, I'll show you the rest of the birds here. This is what I planned on doing, just to show you guys, if you're kind of new to the channel, what we're looking at, what we're studying, and how we kind of started doing this. And the way you learn this stuff is, you're looking at a rock, and maybe you're at a ceremonial site or something, and you're trying to figure out, how is it a bird? How is it a bird? And so you're trying to find it and just exercising your mind that way, looking for the bird head and then ching, finding the bird head. Doing that over and over again can get you to finding things that everyone can see, And what's really neat about this art is it's not just the raven head that you guys see, poking to the left-hand side, of course, with the beak. But on the right-hand side there, it also has the imprint of a foot, like the right side inside of a footprint. So it's really pretty. And so, just briefly, that's kind of how we got started on all this stuff. And here's that girl statue. Hi, Infinite. And so some of these can get really photorealistic. So let's take a look at the shale ones here. We'll take apart one here that's kind of already split apart. So here we have just small little bird effigies that are painted. I'll zoom in a little bit so it gets a little easier to see. You can see all the little markings on here are intentional, the little spots for the eyes. They just represent little birds. The color on this stuff is really pretty. And I could possibly bring the light a little closer. There we go. So we'll take each one of these off kind of individually, and we'll set them up next to each other. You can see all this beautiful red paint on here. Pretty neat to see this prehistoric stuff, prehistoric birds. Who'd have ever thought you'd find it right here? This one has like a painted head, and you can tilt it a little bit. Really should have looked at the whole thing, but we can always put it back together. There's another really cool one. I imagine it goes this way. You guys can tell me. But the face that we see is this with the red lips on the bottom and the eye right there. So we can turn it over here. There's another bird head. Well, it is when it's all in one piece here. So cool how these get taken apart. This one's got stripes on it. So here we have our left side portraits, and we'll be able to start to recognize the style of the art. Almost looks like they drew the eyes in with a pencil. Let's see if we can, I'll zoom you back out just a little bit so you can see more. Thanks for joining, you guys who had just joined in. We can take off a few more of these pieces. You see how there's one slice here, one page. Let's go ahead and pull this page off. Hopefully we didn't break it. We might have broke it, I'm not sure. So all the art is different, and this artist was just very different. These are cartoon-shaped characters, and if you look where the eye should be, at the top here, let me get my little pen, there's going to be a little tiny removable flake. Normally this little eye thing is a flake. I'm not sure if it is right now, but there may even be some more in there. Oh, I'm totally missing the mammoth on the top. You guys see it? With the black trunk. And then, of course, the hump, and he's got like a red dot on his hump. And it looks like there's some paintings in there as well. Well, it looks like a red bird, perhaps. The back of it. See how the tail is kind of done? Yeah, I'm convinced now. That's what they intended it to be. With the right wing and the left wing. Or vice versa. Very cool. Is it just mammoths all over it? Hard to say. I definitely see this little one, though. And this painting down here, is it a right side portrait? A little tough to see it. Oh, wow, that might be worth cleaning off. Look at the eye underneath there. Let's see, zoom in. That is pretty neat, all the paintings in there. Okay, so we see our left side silhouette. That's what it is. So the nose and the mouth, and then this black eye, this Egyptian style eye. So it is just a left side portrait with, he's got a hat with designs, looks like crisscross designs on it. I could get a little brush here, brush this off. I should have been prepared. Isn't that awesome, guys? Thanks for joining in. So if you're just joining in, we're going through all these little bird effigies. We just took apart this effigy, and we're finding all the paintings on it now. Looking for these photorealistic ones. It looks like an eye, but I can't make out the character just yet. Oh, there's some more pages in this. Let's see what we can do. Oh, wow. I'm not seeing them on that. Not very easily, anyway. You guys might have better luck. I think this is a left side portrait with the eye. Sorry for the focus there. With the eye, the nose, and then the mouth. And he has the painted red face. I'm guessing that's what that is. And then there's another woman above him, or somebody, but the nose and then the mouth and the eye, and then the black stuff on the back is the hair. All right, welcome, Go Fast. So what we're doing here is we're looking at archaeology, artifacts. We're studying archaeology, and we're gonna look at some photorealistic portraits now. On this big one, this is really what the video is for, so we've already been at it for 9 minutes, but these are giant bird heads with really cool photorealistic eyes in them. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some of this together here. So on this one here, and I might grunt a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna have to get probably some more Well, let's just zoom it in. We'll do it this way. Be patient with me. It is a little bit tough to show these. They're super heavy and fragile. Here we have a pheasant. You see the bird? You guys can point him out. You can see him pretty well, I'm sure. But the back tail and the back of the bird, this is the head of it, the face. You can see how the beak is done there in the eye. I just want to give you a good shot of the color there and how that bird, the bird's eye, turns into the woman's eye. You can see the woman's mouth perhaps here. So we see the bird painted on her face, and then we see the face of the girl. And there are several more on here, so just this character that you might be able to see, pointing to the right. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way, guys. You'll start to spot them here on the bottom. See the carvings for the eye, right here in this section, the nose, and then perhaps the mouth down here. And then what you'll see here is a very large open mouth for a character also pointing to the right with some type of headdress, and then it'll get really small. So looking just at the very top of this, you see how we have both eyes. It's just a little statue of the little guy on the top. You can see one eye, both of his eyes, his nose, and then his mouth with his little pointy hat. And he kind of looks like a monkey a little bit. See how his mouth is kind of open? You can see our fella here. If you guys can see that, let me know how he comes out for you. So there's different size ones. We can use the bigger mouth at the bottom, but just little cartoons. And then when we flip it over to this side, you can see how the eye painting is done right here in this section for the human silhouette that has probably a mouth here, and then there's also going to be a larger one, I'm sure. So they're action pictures. They're pictures of people in different stages of action, as well as with the birds, it's the same deal. They're showing people doing different things here. So, in different poses sometimes, different faces, faces on top of faces. So, trying to explain it the best I can, but it's hard to because it's art, right? So it's interpretive, and it's different all the time. So what we have here is just looking at it like this. We have a left side portrait with its mouth kind of going into the rock. And what's great about this is to be removed. So the rest of this painting is just hidden right now underneath this. And we'll be able to pop this open and take a look at the rest of the paintings that are inside of it. But before I did that, I just wanted to show the whole thing and show a few of the other faces that are on this sucker. This little bird here, sorry I'm so zoomed in, let me zoom out. So we have this little duck here poking to the left, and there's a few other characters on here I want to share with you. We of course have our mammoth pointing downward here. So you can see the mammoth in this hump. And of course the circle for the mammoth's eye. It's pretty easy to see. And you see how the tuft or the mammoth tuft or hump there is done. And this whole mammoth may be able to be removed. You see how it's cracked right there? I think we'll be able to extract the whole mammoth from this. So you see how it's sliced like this? All these are separate effigies. And they are their own individual ones too. I'm trying to figure out if this is just a bird blasted on the side. I'm looking for the humans frantically to try to keep you guys entertained. So I'll try to slow down here and see if we can't see them together. Because it's funny, they're quite obvious once you're able to see them. Okay, so here's the one. I've made a couple shorts of him. He's a little tough to show, but we have our painted eye on the left-hand side. So we're just looking at this section of it. And you guys might be able to just see him without me even pointing him out, but this is the mouth. Maybe he has a mustache. You can see the eye right there. It's just like a cartoon eye. You see the black middle, the yellow around it, and then the eyebrows right there. Don't want to bore you because I showed him a few times, but we might also be able to use that same eye for some right side silhouettes. Oh, for sure. We can see it now, especially with the way the shadow is done. So I know it looks a little shaded. I lost it now that I looked away. We see the eye, of course, right here. So I'm trying to turn it left and see how we might have a nose and the mouth right here. So I'm looking at it like this, turning it, trying to figure out how it goes. But this piece was also attached to that. You can see how the mammoth, just the opposite side of that other mammoth is on this stone. This is part of this as well. Fits in right in the end here. So that's the whole thing put together. All right. So it would be cool to be able to snap one of these pieces off right now. Maybe break it, but I'd have to kind of investigate it and see. So we can see this right side profile, and then when we take this part off, it'll probably look a little bit better with just the bird on its head with the crest right here. Let's see if we can't break it into the third piece here. They do have like little tabs that they kind of try to get you to use. Yeah. I'll have to just grab onto it later. But we can take a look at a few more here, because that one's super heavy and it's hard to show, to be honest. I don't know why I always choose the heavy ones, but sometimes they're easier to see. I guess that's why. So this is a really cool painted one. Of course, we see the bird head here pointing to the left with the beak and the eye and then the crest, right? And then as we move this around, we can put the face here. And I'm going to keep on showing this, but I also want to read the chat here. Yeah, the caves and stuff. We have a lot of caves out here and overhangs in North Carolina that are they're all rock shelters. So in Texas, they actually call them prehistoric rock shelters, which is cool. Out here in North Carolina, they're still doing the erase thing. So I was thinking about, if we can try to open this one up. He does have some really beautiful painted faces on him, though, and there's a couple different eyes that you can see when you get them in the right light and the shadows. We're really set up for the left side portraits on this one. But let's see if we can. He's almost like a cement right now. And we still got it. All right, let me zoom you out just a hair so we can start to see. Well, before we go too far, we're looking at the yellow painting at the bottom. Look at all the colors and markings on this stuff. Look like, I don't know what those are. So there's a silhouette in the black as well. Ooh-wee. There's a chip here, which I think is its own individual one. There's gold in it. That's pretty. So we definitely have on this side the mammoth. And you can always tell from that hump and then the tuft poking out in the trunk there. And looks like we have our left side silhouette still. All right, let's see if we can get another page off this. Okay, I see him now. So we see the right side silhouette with a large black eye, right? You might be able to see different eyes, but I really want to let me move the whole thing for a second here. Let me get this light kind of situated. Lighting is so important, the way that we light these. It makes all the difference. So hopefully you guys are seeing this character here. He's got some kind of weird flat hat on. His eyes look a little messy, for sure. It looks like he's got a dang fang, like he's a vampire man. I don't know what's going on there. Those are teeth sticking out, though. Just some, you know, kind of like clouds, little images in there. Oh, here's a nice one on the right-hand side. Looking at the golden one, the golden face. Right side profile. Might be able to see both the eyes on that. But you see how those shadows are working out for us now. This is an extremely high level piece. You might be able to see some of the little petroglyphs. They almost look like plants. You see that stuff? It's amazing how intricate they made these. All those little markings. They made this stuff too tiny. Look at their skills. Oh, it almost looks organic. Like this isn't all paint. They may have grown, so we know that they were growing the paint. It's ochre paint. So, and that stuff is all swirly. I don't know if you guys could catch all that. That was pretty insane. Definitely some little demons and stuff on here. I can see in this section a white eye carving pretty well. See that white spot? So that's like the most human face that I can find on here. I'll show you. Look at all the symbols. How do they make this stuff that small? It doesn't make any sense to me. No wonder why the archaeologists don't want to talk about it. Just drive you mad trying to figure it out. So this is a great representation here on the right-hand side of the mammoth, I imagine, with the black face. It's just a toy mammoth. And what do we have here? An X. So we know that they put the X's on the mammoth's head. That's what we have here, is just the marking of the X, I think. Looks like it has more than that, though. But we definitely see the mammoth eye. I'm just gonna start calling them mammies, like Creekstain does. I like that. There's probably a silhouette in the black there. There's so many. Oh, this is gonna get crazy if we go too far into this, guys, but on every edge and corner, if you don't see the right side, see the lips, the nose, and then the eye with the paint on it. There could also be just the eye, that little white spot right there is an eye. He's got a bunch of stuff on his head. There's even another painting of something else on his head. This is the detail of this. That's the tip of my pen. That's how small this stuff is. We're all the way zoomed in, guys. And there's still characters in there. What the heck? Look how small that was. It's silly. It's stupid. It's stupid silly. I wouldn't believe it. If I were you, I would not believe anything. I wouldn't have believed it unless I found it out myself. These guys were super smart, and I think that these are messages trying to tell us that, hey, we can be super smart too. We are, you know, they're just show-offs is what they were, a bunch of show-offs. And they just kind of, that's what it's taught me, is the amount of the capability of each and every single individual human, because it wasn't just like a couple people made these. Everybody made these. They all did. So thanks for joining, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off and have a good Sunday night. So take it easy for the rest of the night. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.